Welcome to Lesson 4 of Unit 5, Birds, Beaks, and Babies. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, how do parents and babies act in order to help the babies survive? Students will use the Nest Cam experience displayed on a device or whiteboard to observe and collect data in journals over time about the hatching, feeding, growing, and fledgling of bird offspring. Students figure out that both parents and babies act in ways that help the babies survive, such as guarding the nest, getting food for babies, chirping, and opening their mouths when hungry. In the Engage, ask the students about how their parents take care of them. Then ask how they think parent birds take care of their babies. Encourage students to compare and contrast how birds and human parents both care for their offspring using a turn-and-talk strategy to share with a partner, then sharing out with the whole class. In the Explore, students will view a Nest Cam using one of the following websites. Please note that the teacher should view bird nest cams prior to classroom viewing to find ones that are active and appropriate for students to observe. Follow these tips for viewing the Nest Cams. If it is the season for live Nest Cam viewing, pick a nest that can be viewed each day over a 2-week period. Pick at least 2 different Nest Cams so students can compare the way different bird parents interact with their offspring. A priority in this lesson is for students to view live nests with parents and offspring interacting. Students will be observing, recording, and talking about how the parents and their offspring interact. In the Explain, ask the class, how can we observe and record what we are learning about the patterns of behavior of bird parents and bird babies? Direct them to the Bird Cam observation sheet on Student Journal page 11 and model how to record observations made. Students will view this nest every day at the same time if possible to collect data about what the parents and offspring are doing in the nest, and then record their findings in their journals. As you view and discuss the bird cams, introduce the vocabulary words hatchling and fledgling. Among other behaviors exhibited, students may notice that baby birds chirp and nuzzle to get their parents to feed them. Students should be able to describe these behaviors both verbally and on their observation sheet, and should make the connection that these birds use these behaviors to help them survive. In the Elaborate, ask students to draw a picture model of one of the nests with the birds in it after viewing at least 2 different bird cams to illustrate the behavior of the baby and parent birds on Bird Cam observation sheet, student page 12. Ask students to compare models and describe how the 2 types of birds differed in their behavior. In the Evaluate, ask the class what they have learned about parent birds and their offspring by watching the Nest Cam videos. Give students time to turn and talk, then share a few answers to the whole class. Show students the following blue jay parent and babies, in which the parent is guarding the nest and another parent is feeding the babies. Finally, direct students to a bird story on Student Journal page 13 and ask them to write a story about the blue jay family, including what the parents and babies do to help the babies survive. Now that students have seen how birds behave in order to help babies survive, ask students to compare this again to how human parents and babies act in order to help humans survive. By the end of this lesson, students will describe how parent birds and babies act in order to help the baby birds survive.